For the past 2 years, the artificial intelligence frontier operated like a closed club. A handful of legacy labs, OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic, controlled the absolute top tier of AI models. Training these systems requires tens of thousands of GPUs, billions of dollars, and oceans of scraped internet data. It seemed like a game only the established tech giants could afford to play. But that digital fortress is rapidly crumbling. Out of nowhere, SpaceX AI unexpectedly released GROK 4.6. This chart measures general intelligence across the industry's top models, showing how SpaceX's new release rivals the highest-end versions of GPT and Claude. But notice the cost metric. It outputs its answers for roughly 1/5 the price. And it's not the only outlier. DeepSeek V4 Pro, an open-source model financed by a Chinese hedge fund manager, is suddenly crushing major Western labs in complex coding capabilities. Rocket engineers and financial quants are outmaneuvering the world's premier labs by abandoning the traditional software development model. The first move in the insurgent playbook treats AI development as a problem of physical atoms and logistics. Moving atoms is harder than writing logic. The SpaceX team built their massive micro-hard server clusters by treating them like rocket parts, packing 200,000 GPUs into a hyper-efficient, compact footprint in record time. The scramble for this kind of physical infrastructure is bleeding into the broader market. Intel recently raised $20 billion in under 24 hours to fund the rapid build-out of new semiconductor foundries. Meanwhile, newer hyperscalers known as neoclouds, companies like CoreWeave, are outcompeting legacy giants like AWS by offering bespoke, custom-built GPU clusters instead of generic server racks. Physical hardware is only half the equation. The other half is training data. With the open internet largely exhausted by existing models, the new competitive edge requires crossing a proprietary data moat. This image shows a Starship prototype, the product of an entirely closed corpus of human-engineered science. All the math, material sciences, and hardware schematics generated entirely by humans for this program are being fed directly into their models. Fusing custom physical infrastructure with highly specialized private engineering data yields incredibly precise models that a traditional software lab simply cannot replicate. The third tactic abandons the brute force approach entirely. The industry is pivoting from massive monolithic models to agentic swarms. Rather than sending a single query to one giant resource-heavy brain, the system spins up multiple smaller agents to divide the workload. These agents collaborate to process the prompt and return an answer, drastically cutting down the required compute and the final cost. This swarm architecture is already hitting the consumer market through applications like GrokBot. Users can deploy a dedicated digital worker to handle calendar scheduling or write emails, or track fitness routines. It requires zero technical knowledge or private server maintenance. You assign a task, and the agents run it. By moving this agentic experience into a standard mobile-first messaging interface, it offers a high-utility alternative to native systems, setting up a head-to-head competition with the OS-level integration of Apple's upcoming Siri update. These systems operate as invisible human emulators, designed to drive the cost of repetitive digital knowledge labor to zero. There is an immediate risk to hyper-efficient, democratized AI. The leaked capabilities of open-source models like DeepSeek V4 Pro point to highly advanced cyber attack proficiencies, tools that operate without central safety guardrails. That prospect has triggered quiet panic among global regulators. To maintain a baseline of digital trust, the European Union has mandated that top AI labs embed mathematical watermarks into all generated text, simply to help humans and detection systems identify what is synthetic. As software-based work and digital intelligence become virtually free, it forces a critical economic question: what actually retains value? Elite tech investors are answering that question by deploying the post-AGI barbell strategy. On one side of the barbell, capital is flooding into hard infrastructure. Trillions of dollars are moving into the power grids, data centers, and chip fabs required to keep the digital machines running. On the exact opposite end, investors are quietly securing the scarcest resource left: authentic, unautomatable human experiences. Joshua Kushner, whose firm Thrive Capital is one of the largest investors in OpenAI, recently purchased a stake in the LA Lakers at a record-breaking $12.5 billion valuation. As the digital frontier is conquered by AI, capital is rotating into assets that are durable against automation, placing a premium on physical reality and authentic human connection.